The Cincinnati Bengals have officially unveiled plans for a $2 billion new stadium that would replace 24-year-old Paycor Stadium and fundamentally reshape the NFL landscape in Ohio. Welcome to Big Builds. After months of speculation and behind-the-scenes negotiations, the Bengals organization has revealed comprehensive details for what would become one of the most expensive stadium projects in NFL history. The proposed venue would seat between 65,000 and 70,000 fans in a state-of-the-art facility designed to compete with recently constructed stadiums like SoFi in Los Angeles and Allegiant in Las Vegas. The $2 billion price tag immediately places this project among the most ambitious stadium constructions ever attempted. For context, that's more than double what the Vikings spent on US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis and approaches half the cost of SoFi Stadium, currently the most expensive sports venue ever built. This represents a massive escalation from the $500 million Hamilton County and the Bengals spent building the current stadium in 2000. However, this cost comparison requires careful analysis. Inflation alone accounts for significant price increases since 2000, when $500 million equaled approximately $800 million in today's purchasing power. The proposed $2 billion investment represents a real increase of 150% beyond inflation, suggesting fundamental changes in stadium construction standards and revenue expectations. Current Paycor Stadium, which opened in September 2000, seats 65,515 fans. While structurally sound, the 24-year-old venue lacks many amenities that have become standard in modern NFL facilities. The Bengals argue that revenue limitations from an outdated stadium design hamper their ability to compete financially with teams in newer venues. This revenue argument reflects documented trends in professional sports economics. Academic research from sports economists at institutions like Holy Cross and Syracuse University demonstrates that newer stadiums generate substantially higher revenues through premium seating, enhanced concessions, and year-round event hosting capabilities. The Bengals' current revenue limitations are real and measurable. The proposed new stadium would span 1.8 to 2 million square feet, incorporating design elements that weren't available when Paycor Stadium was constructed. Plans include over 150 luxury suites, significantly more than the current venue's 88 suites. This premium seating focus reflects modern NFL economics, where luxury revenue streams provide the financial foundation for competitive team payrolls. Sports business analysts from Forbes and Sports Business Journal consistently report that luxury suites represent the highest margin revenue source in professional sports. Each suite generates between $100,000 to $500,000 annually in profit, depending on market size and team performance. The Bengals suite expansion could add $15 to $25 million in annual revenue. Club seating would expand to over 8,000 seats, nearly doubling the current premium seating capacity. Industry analysis from venue consulting firms suggests these additions could generate $75 to $100 million in additional annual revenue compared to current stadium income. That revenue boost would help fund the high player salaries necessary to maintain competitive rosters in today's NFL salary cap environment. Yet revenue projections for stadium projects deserve skeptical examination. Economic impact studies frequently overestimate benefits, according to independent research from economists who specialize in public sports facility investments. The Bengals' projections assume consistent sellouts and premium pricing that may prove optimistic during economic downturns or extended periods of poor team performance. The financing structure represents one of the most complex public-private partnerships ever proposed in professional sports. Hamilton County has indicated willingness to contribute through municipal bond issuance, though the exact percentage remains under negotiation. The Bengals organization would provide significant private investment, with some estimates suggesting the team could contribute over $1 billion of the total project cost. Municipal finance experts analyzing the preliminary proposals suggest Hamilton County's contribution could reach $800 million to $1 billion, representing 40 to 50% of total project costs. This public investment would occur while the county faces infrastructure needs in schools, roads, and public safety that compete for the same taxpayer resources. Ohio state government participation adds another layer to the financing complexity. State officials have expressed interest in supporting the project through various mechanisms, including potential tax incentives and infrastructure investment around the stadium site. However, final state contribution amounts await legislative approval and budget allocation decisions that remain uncertain. The construction timeline spans 36 to 48 months, longer than typical stadium builds due to the project's complexity and size. Site preparation alone could require 12 to 18 months, depending on the final location selection. The Bengals are evaluating multiple sites, including the current Paycor Stadium location and several alternative locations that would allow continuous operation at the existing venue during construction. Construction industry sources indicate that the extended timeline reflects lessons learned from recent NFL stadium projects, where compressed schedules led to cost overruns and quality issues. The Bengals appear determined to avoid the problems that plagued projects like Las Vegas's Allegiant Stadium, which faced significant delays and budget increases during construction. Technology integration represents a major differentiator from the current stadium and a substantial cost component. The new venue would feature comprehensive 5G network coverage, fiber optic infrastructure throughout, and integrated technology systems designed to support 70,000 connected devices simultaneously. Modern NFL fans expect seamless digital experiences, and the current stadium's technology infrastructure struggles to meet these demands during peak usage periods. Sports venue technology consultants estimate that comprehensive technology integration costs between $75 to $150 million for venues of this scale. While substantial, inadequate technology infrastructure can severely damage fan experience and reduce long-term attendance, making this investment essentially defensive rather than optional. Sustainability features would pursue LEED certification, incorporating solar panel installation, rainwater collection systems, and high-efficiency building systems throughout. While these environmental measures add upfront costs estimated at $50 to $75 million, they provide long-term operational savings and align with modern corporate responsibility expectations. Environmental consulting firms report that LEED-certified stadiums typically achieve 15 to 25% reductions in annual operating costs compared to conventional facilities. Over the stadium's expected 50-year lifespan, these savings could total hundreds of millions of dollars, helping justify the upfront investment. The retractable roof system deserves particular attention as both a major cost driver and revenue generator. Unlike dome stadiums, the proposed design would feature a roof that opens and closes based on weather conditions, providing climate control while preserving outdoor football atmosphere. This technology adds an estimated $200 to $300 million to construction costs, but creates year-round event hosting opportunities. Retractable roof systems have proven their value at venues like Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta and US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. These facilities host significantly more non-football events than open-air venues, generating additional revenue that helps justify the substantial upfront investment. Industry analysis suggests retractable roof venues generate 30 to 50% more annual revenue than comparable open-air facilities. Parking capacity would expand to over 15,000 spaces, addressing one of the current stadium's major limitations. Game day parking has been problematic at Paycor Stadium, with fans often walking significant distances from remote lots. The new design prioritizes convenient parking that enhances the overall fan experience while generating additional revenue streams. Parking construction represents a significant cost component, with industry estimates suggesting $15,000 to $25,000 per space for structured parking in urban environments. The Bengals parking expansion alone could cost $200 to $300 million, representing 10 to 15% of the total project budget. Economic impact projections suggest the project would generate over $3 billion in regional economic activity over 30 years. Construction alone would create over 8,000 temporary jobs, with several thousand permanent positions added once the venue opens. These projections factor into public officials' justification for taxpayer contribution to the project. However, economic impact studies for stadium projects often overstate benefits by ignoring opportunity costs, according to academic economists who study public sports investments. The resources devoted to stadium construction could alternatively fund infrastructure, education, or other projects that might generate greater long-term economic returns for the community. Local business impact extends beyond construction employment, though benefits vary significantly by project type and location. The enhanced venue would attract major concerts, Final Four tournaments, and other premier events that currently bypass Cincinnati due to facility limitations. Industry analysis suggests modern NFL stadiums host between 20 to 30 non-football events annually, generating substantial additional revenue. Concert and event hosting revenue can add $20 to $40 million annually to stadium income, according to venue management companies that operate similar facilities. However, this revenue depends heavily on market competition, venue management expertise, and booking agent relationships that aren't guaranteed to develop as projected. The design and construction management process involves multiple nationally recognized firms competing for various project components. Architectural selection emphasizes experience with recent NFL stadium projects, particularly venues incorporating retractable roof systems. Construction management companies with experience handling complex urban construction projects are prioritized due to site logistics challenges. Contractor selection will significantly impact both project costs and completion timeline. Industry sources suggest that experienced NFL stadium contractors command premium pricing but deliver more predictable outcomes than firms without specialized sports venue experience. The Bengals appear willing to pay for expertise to avoid costly delays and overruns. Comparing this project to recent NFL stadium constructions provides valuable context for assessing value and risk. At $2 billion, the Bengals' proposed venue costs more than recent builds like US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis at $1.1 billion, or Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta at $1.5 billion. However, it remains significantly less expensive than SoFi Stadium's $5.5 billion price tag. The cost positioning suggests the Bengals are targeting premium amenities without reaching the extreme luxury level of SoFi Stadium. This approach may maximize value by achieving most benefits of top-tier facilities while avoiding the highest-cost features that provide diminishing returns on investment. The timeline for final approval remains uncertain and represents the project's biggest risk factor. Hamilton County officials must vote on public financing participation, while Ohio state government involvement requires legislative action. The Bengals have indicated flexibility on project timing, but emphasize that construction must begin within the next 3 years to maintain current cost projections. Inflation in construction materials and labor costs continues accelerating, making project delays increasingly expensive. Industry analysis suggests that each year of delay could add $50 to $100 million to total project costs, creating pressure for quick approval decisions that may not allow adequate public review. Fan reaction has been mixed, with enthusiasm for modern amenities balanced against concerns about public funding requirements and inevitable ticket price increases. Season ticket holders have expressed particular interest in improved concession options, better sight lines, and enhanced parking availability. However, taxpayer groups have raised questions about public investment in private sports facilities. Industry precedent suggests that major stadium construction typically results in 20 to 30% increases in average ticket prices to help fund improved facilities. The Bengals haven't announced specific pricing changes, but historical patterns indicate significant cost increases are likely for fans. The current stadium lease expires in 2026, creating urgency around decision-making timelines that may not serve public interests. If the new stadium project doesn't proceed, the Bengals would need to negotiate lease extensions or consider relocation options. This dynamic influences both public officials and team ownership in ongoing negotiations. The relocation threat carries real weight in NFL economics, where several franchises have successfully moved to secure better stadium deals. However, Cincinnati's market size and fan base make relocation less attractive than in smaller markets where teams have actually moved in recent years. Revenue generation capabilities represent the project's strongest business case argument, though projections require careful scrutiny. Modern NFL stadiums with premium amenities generate substantially more income than older venues, providing teams with competitive advantages in player acquisition and retention. The Bengals argue this investment is necessary to remain competitive in an increasingly expensive league environment. The revenue argument reflects documented reality in professional sports economics. Teams in newer stadiums consistently outspend teams in older facilities on player payrolls, according to salary data analysis from sports business publications. However, correlation doesn't prove causation, and successful teams have been built in older facilities through effective management. This $2 billion project would transform the Cincinnati sports landscape while positioning the Bengals for long-term competitive success, assuming revenue projections prove accurate and public financing approval proceeds smoothly. Final approval decisions are expected within the next 12 months, with construction beginning as early as 2026 if all parties reach agreement. Big Builds will continue monitoring this developing story as negotiations progress and construction timelines become clearer, examining both the promised benefits and potential risks for taxpayers and fans. For more comprehensive coverage of NFL stadium development projects across the league, subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest construction news and financial analysis.